Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, or good afternoon from the floor of Gencon50.
Gencon50!
At the corner of Capitol and Maryland, I am joined today by Rico.
Yo.
Kat. Rob Southgate.
Special guest,
I'm not
Rob
making
Southgate.
a noise or anything.
Well, you don't have to. She made the noise. It's all good. And second special guest, Rachel from Five-ish Fangirls.
Hello.
Is that what you're from, Rachel?
Yes.
Hey, I
Yeah.
follow you guys.
Hey.
Yeah.
It's so awesome that we get to
shared
meet.
your stuff every now and
Isn't
then.
that nice?
Yeah, I've shared your stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She is
It's all
one of
kinds
my
of good,
favorite
right?
special guests that we see her at every
Now I
convention.
know. Now I know.
Yeah.
This is like an all-star session.
Yeah.
Kind
It really-
of,
it
right?
really is,
well,
yeah.
Little
with,
bit.
with
At
these
least
two,
to us.
and then maybe
well,
those
us
three.
too.
I was about
and
to say,
then,
Kat was on the Stargate podcast, so this has been her first time back in a while.
Well, I'm
Yeah.
friends with you on Facebook, too, I think, Kat.
Yes.
Yeah, see?
Yeah.
Cool.
You know what, Rob? I'm going to take a note from your book.
Oh,
Oh, I'm breaking
yeah,
the
there we
rules.
go.
You pedestrians.
Yeah, she took her pants off
There
just
we
like
go.
I did.
oh, peasants.
Not yet.
It's called
Not yet. Starting with
cosplay,
shoes.
folks.
Right? But when she does it, it's artistic. When you do it,
Yeah, no. No.
that was a conversation killer now, wasn't it? Oh, excellent. All right, wonderful.
I was going to say, technically, he's not wearing pants. He's wearing shorts.
That's
Silence
correct.
with Scott.
There
Welcome
it is.
to
Yes,
our new
could
show.
which is rare and hard to find.
Yeah,
It no really kidding.
is.
That's a thing. But no, that 3/5 of the podcast is celebrity and wisdom and podcast gold. Hey, our ratings went up when Kat was talking into the mic. That's all I have to say.
Aww.
When she meowed, it would right up.
We're like, woo, what was that? Yeah, very good.
Well, I'm excited. I'm glad I got to meet you guys in person. So, I remember last year when we were going to come to Indianapolis. My wife and daughter and I were going to come, and Rico was new, I believe.
I was.
And he was very excited.
Yeah.
He was. I
He
can
gets
get
that way.
the Southgates.
He was
It's not
extremely
that big a
excited.
deal, Rico.
I realize
It
that
is.
now, sitting here and talking
Yeah,
with
it's
you.
really
He's
not.
easily excitable, though.
I was like, oh, all
Very
right,
easily
well.
excitable.
Yeah, and you know
That's
what?
true.
Ouch! Not even close. You know what? I'm not successful unless I'm getting booed. So we get a boo, which we'll get. That's gold to me.
Actually, we found out during the couple recordings we've had, like the majority of the people, they just tend to ignore us despite us having a loudspeaker.
Yeah.
Which is perfectly fine.
Like, we'll
Hey, anybody that's
specifically-
paying attention, can you give Rob Southgate a nice big boo?
Anybody want to boo?
Yeah,
Nope.
see?
Nope.
They
No.
can hear
No.
us. We have a
Right.
loudspeaker. I know they can
We do,
hear us
yeah.
all the way around to the hallway to 114.
I'm sure it's
They're
really
just-
annoying
they're
to the
just
guy on his
ignoring
cell
us.
phone.
Hey,
Oh,
Roman
that's
or
all right.
Donovan, can you boo
Sorry
us,
about
please? No, they're lost too. That's all good. They're
Yeah,
busy.
they don't care.
It's
We've
all
lost
good.
them to
I
the
get
ether.
nothing. It's all good.
All right.
Which is the listenership that we have here in our corner. That's all right. We will have the banner up and the banners up in force next tomorrow.
Tomorrow,
And
yeah. He's
we
gotta
will
bring-
draw people
I'll come by
in
and see you again tomorrow.
in a
It's the cute
phenomenal
little
way.
Captain America girl.
Oh,
She's like 4 or 5, wearing
Is
an
she coming
adorable
in?
little Captain America dress.
Yeah,
I
she's
think
fixing
so,
to
yeah.
come in.
all right.
Yep, there she is.
Oh, that's a
so cute.
score.
Oh, that's
Everybody collectively
adorable.
go, "Aw."
Oh, that's fantastic. Aw.
We love your Captain America dress.
We love your Captain America dress.
Not listening.
They're also
That's okay.
ignoring
She
us.
ignored
That's
us.
fine.
That's
Yeah.
all right.
So,
She's prepared, dude.
Scott,
She's got
that's
a
not
little
your
full-size camo
demographic.
pack and
Part of
everything.
me wants to crank this to 11 and then just be like, "We love," you know. Just, whoa, okay. And
That
and
actually
then
sounded
I'm
really
ready.
good. Scott, finish that sentence.
Yeah, no, I don't. No, I'm okay with that.
Finish it with Gen Con.
So this is
We
my
love
first
Gen
time at Gen Con. Have you guys all been here? You guys have.
Yes.
But you guys been here before?
I have been here every year. It's been an Indy.
Every year it's been an Indy.
Yeah.
I think I've missed 1 year,
I have not missed any. Find some wood.
and that was I was protesting a dumb reason.
No, this is my second year participating in this capacity. So
Okay.
I've been like a one dayer a couple times before that. But
Yeah, I've been a one-dayer when I've been broke.
yeah.
But I've been here every year, damn it.
Yeah,
Yeehaw.
we do a lot of cons. We do a lot of Comic Cons and various other things. So this is the first gaming only con that I've done, and I wasn't going to do it. I mean, but our friends at Geeks A Go Go that are here, we were at their house, and they're like, "Did you get a press pass for Gen Con? Are you going to go? It's awesome. You got to go." So I applied, and we got a pass, and Martha and Molly stayed home watching Gilmore Girls. So,
As you do.
Yep, that's what they're doing. They made Pizookie. And see, they're having a whole thing going on at home.
Yeah.
So I ate a beef stick. So
Nice.
A
Yep.
beef stick?
I had
Like
a beef
a Slim
stick.
Jim?
Yes, but this was because I'm all organic and like healthy and
Oh,
stuff.
organic meat stick.
This was the Trader
natural.
Joe's organic beef stick.
Oh.
Yes, I did
Gotta
not
say it.
snap into a Slim Jim.
That's good, because a few minutes later they snap back.
That's right. I'm not guaranteeing these won't either. We might want to clear the area.
Oh, my. Well, they're working on
Rachel,
it.
you're
All
first.
right.
You're closest.
If you turn around, Rob, you'll see they're already working on it.
Nice.
We are clearing the area
Clearing
nicely.
the room.
Yep.
Well, you have been warned, people.
The fireworks
I'm just-
haven't even started yet.
There it
So
is.
yeah, I got to
Very
walk
nice.
the floor, and
Now, what do you think?
you know what? It's so different. It's so different than Comic Cons.
Oh yeah.
There's a different vibe, and I will
Different
say
smell.
a different smell, although not a worse smell than I've experienced.
It's only Thursday.
I am.
True
Yeah, I was about to say
story.
day one.
Hashtag
Yeah,
true.
give it
What
time.
direction is Wisconsin? Because I'm not looking at you, Wisconsin.
North and
but-
slightly west.
But there was a con I was at there
Roughly that.
that I still have lost senses from being in that room. P.U.
Oof.
We were
That's
so
rough.
packed in there that it was literally shoulder to shoulder. You know how people go like, oh, we were like this? We were like this.
Actual
And
sardines in a can.
It was unbelievable. It was unbelievable. But it was great because in celebrity area, for some reason, there was nobody in there for part of it. So, like, I hung out with Billy D. Williams and Freddy
Nice.
Krueger and
Nice.
what's his name, Robert Englund.
Yeah,
that was like
Robert
PopCon
Englund, yeah.
a few years
was
ago.
there like a
awesome.
maximum
Yeah.
body
Yeah.
odor limit to get into the celebrity room?
There must have been. I think there was a barrier. Like they
Must
like,
be this smelly
like,
or lower
oh,
to
yeah,
enter?
Yeah, if you smell like this, you cannot get in. And then River Song, Alex Kingston
Alex
was there,
Kingston.
and she was the greatest thing ever. And she loved my daughter so much. Like for a half hour, we talked to her. We were just talking to her, and then we had to go to a panel, and she said, "I'm coming to your panel, sweetie. I'm coming." And then she couldn't come.
Oh.
And then we saw her later, like getting handled and like moved through, and she ran away from her handlers to go, Molly,
Oh, hey,
and
it's
come
a
over and talk to my daughter.
Nice.
I mean, come on,
Yeah. You know, it doesn't get better than that.
no.
Right.
You know, and that's like you were saying about the Indie PopCon where, so we walked over to Edward James Olmos and said, "Hey, I wanted to say thanks. I've seen a bunch of your stuff, and you've lent so much to the screen that I just wanted to say thank you and shake your hand." And he went, "Well, I appreciate that. Thanks a lot." And it was just walk right up to him.
Yeah, actually,
Nice.
I met
So
him the
good.
same way. In fact, I think it might have been that same con in Wisconsin. And I walked up to him, and I do a Marvel podcast, and he was on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. at that time. So I walked up and I told him, and
Yep.
he was, he's really serious, but what a friggin' awesome guy. And I started naming some of his really old, obscure stuff, and he was just like, I am really glad that you know that, and not just that I'm Battlestar Galactica.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's like when I met Billy D. Williams, and of course everyone's like, Lando! And I went up and I went, you were awesome in Bingo Long and his Traveling All-Stars. And he was like, really? I go, I have the Laserdisc, babe.
Nice.
I do.
Oh, I remember that
It
shit.
doesn't work anymore, but I have it.
Yeah. Nice.
Do you still have a Laserdisc player?
That's what doesn't work anymore.
That's the thing that's
Ah,
broken
that
about
I
that.
probably have 300 Laserdiscs.
Oh my god, I remember those things.
I wish I could get rid of them.
I was about to say that was a technology you adopted super early that died as soon as it came out.
No,
Yeah,
it
pretty
didn't.
much.
It was,
Oh,
it
it
was
was-
the
it was
technology
big.
for what, 20 years? Way before DVD.
DVD?
Like,
Really?
Yeah.
back when Star Wars was first out, Laserdiscs were the thing, and they didn't disappear until DVD had taken hold, which was like 98.
Yeah.
I remember watching
And they were
Jaws
still
on a
around then.
Laserdisc.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had, like I said, I
Roger
had
Rabbit on
about
Laserdisc.
300.
Had
yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you could pause on the underwear scene.
Yes, you could.
And actually, I have a production cell from Roger Rabbit, and you could pause it right on my cell on the Laserdisc. On the DVD, it's hard to do that.
Nice.
So that was
Yeah.
pretty cool.
Yeah, that's totally cool.
That's awesome.
I had my favorite thing is I have a couple of very rare things. I have the documentary Hearts of Darkness on Laserdisc, which has never been put out again. It's the documentary about Apocalypse Now that was shot by his wife, and it is so good. But there's all these legal issues, and it'll never be shown again.
Sure.
And if I could get a Laserdisc player that worked, I could make a copy of it because it's incredible. And I also have, you guys like Mike Nesmith? You know who Mike Nesmith is? Mm-hmm. Okay.
Monkeys.
I'm a fan of him solo. His solo music is, especially the early stuff, is incredible. And he did television parts and elephant parts. Well, I have television parts on Laserdisc, which, if you watch it, it was him doing like a sketch comedy type thing before everybody else was really doing that. What's crazy about it is the cast is almost in the entirety of the cast of Saturday Night Live like 5 seasons later.
Nice.
Yeah.
Like when A. Whitney Brown was on Saturday Night Live and all that, he's one of the cast. And they even did, do you remember when they would do, Jack Handy? Is that it? The one where he'd be like Deep Thoughts
Yes.
with it.
Oh yeah. I think that was
That
Jack
came
Handy.
from Mike Nesmith's thing, and I
Nice.
have it on that Laserdisc. Super rare. It was like a Japanese import. We will never see it again because I can't get a Laserdisc player that works.
Nice.
Do they just don't make Laserdisc players
No.
anymore? Or is there no secondary market for Laserdisc players
No, I
that you
could
can't
probably
get a
get one.
working
The last one I got for $1.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm sure you can find a refurbished one.
That is
somewhere.
not a joke. I could probably
I
get it
believe
it. I believe
fixed
it.
too. So
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and
100%
as
believe you.
incredible as that is, it leads you to you see things. You took me off into the Second City SCTV.
yeah.
When you saw all of those before, all of those comedians
Before they were big.
And it's just phenomenal. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just great memories.
Oh yeah.
Fridays.
Fridays.
Yeah.
No one ever, Scott. I would get up and hug you, but I don't want to hug you.
Right. I get that.
Nobody ever knows Fridays.
It was hysterical.
You know what? I make reference. Well, everyone talks about the pharmacist from that because that was the
Exactly.
big thing. But
Right.
there was a superhero one they did.
Yes.
The skunk.
Yes.
Do you remember that?
Yes.
I just made a reference to this maybe a week ago on a show because
Oh, that's phenomenal.
and nobody knows what I'm ever talking about.
And they're like, "What is this?" Fridays was we would stay up,
God.
we would wait. It would just
So there,
it was so good.
People are robbing a bank, right? And all the people are standing there like, oh, and the superhero shows up, and it's a guy in a skunk outfit, and they're like, "Who are you?" And he's, "I'm Skunk Man." And at first, it seems like it's going to play like any other superhero thing, and then finally somebody goes, like one of the victims goes like, "You're a skunk?
How does that?
What are your powers?" And he's like, "Well, I can do this," and he turns around and sprays them, and everyone's like, "Oh my God, I'd rather get robbed!" And then as he's walking out, he like puts his head down, he's walking out, and his tail just goes up one more time. Still funny.
Yeah,
I love it.
Oh, phenomenal, good stuff.
Yeah, and that guy that did the pharmacist, I think he went on to do a movie, like a Jekyll and Hyde movie or
Yes.
something. I don't remember that being very good, but
No, but his pharmacist
was hilarious.
Just phenomenal.
70s drug humor.
Right, 70s, and you can see in his pharmacist seeds of Jim Carrey doing Fire Marshal Bill or
Totally.
Fire Marshal Bob or what was it? Bill?
Fire Marshal Bill.
Fire Marshal Bill. I thought it was Bill.
Let me tell you something.
Yeah, you could see one lead to the other,
Yeah.
and it was just brilliant. It's all kinds of good.
It is cool to go back and watch some of that stuff and see some of those early people that at that time, I mean, if you think about it, like I was at Second City in the training program, and I was just talking about this last night with somebody. The other class opposite me had like Chris Farley and Ian Gomez, who was the boss on Drew Carey, and this guy Brian McCann that used to be on Conan all the time. And it's like, these were just guys in the other class. It's so weird when you start really analyzing that whole comedy scene. Like, you can climb. A friend I went to high school with is on 12 Monkeys, and he was at Second City too. It's like, there's so many threads from there.
From that origin that are just amazing.
The next group after I left and was done with all my stuff was like Amy Poehler and all those guys. What's his name? Steve Carell.
Nice.
Yeah, I didn't know any of those guys. I knew the other wave of people. But
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Really cool.
Yeah, and
So-
then here I am sitting at Gaming with Scott. So
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
There it
How far
is.
you
Eating-
fallen?
eating beef
right.
sticks.
You're
Right?
doing better than Chris Farley
Organic
so
beef
far.
sticks.
Oh, hey, winning,
you know
winning
what?
over Chris Farley, huh?
So one of my
Hey,
rules.
I love Chris Farley.
I love Chris Farley.
Okay, one of my rules of comedy is time plus tragedy means you're too late. So literally, when Chris Farley died, and I knew Chris, but we weren't friends or anything, but I knew Chris. I immediately called my wife, and she goes, "Did you hear Chris Farley died?" And I said, "Yeah, I win."
Bazinga.
Zing. All right.
Yeah.
there it
Bazinga
is.
indeed.
Woohoo.
Yeah, I got to be careful though because there's enough tragedy going on that I'm always like, time plus tragedy is too late. But that Nazi thing wasn't that funny. So
Yeah, exactly. How do you?
I'm going to just
Yeah,
hold on
let's-
to that one for a while. Now,
they
Harrison
say-
Ford crashing a plane into onto a golf course. I was on that as he was hitting the ground.
the wheels were tearing up turf, and I'm like,
Chewie, what'd you
got
do?
It. Yeah,
Boom.
got it. There it is.
Yep.
Ta-da.
Yep.
Oh, it was very good. It was very good. Yes, Jack Ryan. This. Oh, the ninth green. Oh,
Get off my plane! Wait, I'm no.
Oh, there was a lot of ground to cover there. It was a brilliant thing.
A mechanic standing on the floor going, "That's for Indy 4."
The science was sound in that movie.
Oh yes.
Oh,
The science was sound. As
Impeccable.
ridiculous as it was, the science was sound.
So getting into a Frigidaire will prevent you from dying in a nuclear attack.
A lead-lined one that far away from the the
Is he serious? Does he believe in this show?
Okay, here's what I'm telling you. Okay?
I mean, if it's one
Okay.
of those old school like stand-up freezers that has a lock on it, maybe. But I feel like he
If
would have.
you didn't get chills when they grab that hat and throw it on the ground, and he reaches down and and it's like,
Hey, quick question, Rob. You ever
I
been
like
worth
all
it?
that stuff.
Totally
It's just
worth
it's
it.
ridiculous.
You ever been to the hospital?
Yeah.
You ever had a CT scan or an MRI or
No.
anything like that? You ever been to the dentist or had X-rays taken of your
No, I
teeth?
try not to go to the dentist. I'm a Luddite with my. No, I'm kidding.
Okay, so you ever worn a lead vest while
I
you're
get
in
that.
one of those
I get that.
radioactive machines?
But he was in a refrigerator.
Lead-lined refrigerator.
Okay, fine. And got blasted across the whole thing and then crawled out of it.
Wasn't at ground zero. He was a
But
a ways
it got,
away.
Forget the nuclear part of it, even though he was still close to it. When he came out of it, it's not like he was blown far enough away that there's no radiation.
The sheer concussion
But
of the landing.
the concussion of the landing
Nah,
is
man.
what I'm talking about.
Nah,
Yeah,
Indy's,
like how did
Indy's
he not
tops.
break anything? How did he
just
come
got
out without
out.
any scrapes? Even.
Yeah, I can't get out of this chair without moaning. So come on.
we're not saying he's not going to be sore the next day. Of course, he's going to need some ibuprofen.
Or
Yeah.
Aleve or Advil or etc.
All right, there was a stretch there, but it's Indy. We're all right with that. Indy's
but I'm
a
still
superhero.
good with it.
All right.
You know, it's not. I have it on Blu-ray, so I'd have it on Laserdisc. But I think I
was
told you the
saying,
same
I was
thing.
I
just-
have it on
Yeah,
Laserdisc, but my
dead format
Laserdisc player
thing.
doesn't work.
Yeah.
I had the Blu-ray.
You had mentioned a lot of projects that Southgate Media Group had going on that you really want to discuss on
Yes.
air.
Ooh, look at him transition. What a pro.
Yeah,
huh?
Segway
And-
tours. Segway tours all day long.
Yeah.
And we're rolling.
You had
we're
mentioned
rolling.
to Scott that you really wanted to talk about it, and so now is the opportunity where you are magnanimous host.
All right, I'm gonna pimp my ride here. I've got
Yeah.
3 things.
All right, well, let's do thing number one because we got plenty of time.
Okay, thing number 1 is we have a book coming out. So I'm going to give you the history on it since we got time.
Yeah, plenty of time.
So
Yes, please, because I have questions.
About a year ago, a little over a year ago, I woke up one day and I went, I want to do something different with my content on Facebook. We were getting bombarded with awful content on Facebook, as we are currently, right? Stuff that just makes you cringe to go, I never want to go on this ever again. And I thought,
No, I've curated my Facebook feed, so all I get are cat videos.
okay.
That's a good idea.
Well played.
I
a
really
really
wanted
good
to
idea.
put something more positive out there, but I don't want to be all hippy-dippy about it. I was like, I'm just going to try something different, something that weighs on me, which
Is that
was
a technical term?
Yes. So
Okay.
I decided to do just talk about dreams and talk about things that,
Which I loved that, by the way.
see, I just said for 30 days, each day I have to put down a dream of mine and encourage the people that read my posts to put theirs down.
I didn't
Because-
have the scrote to step up. I mean,
I-
I didn't the pure chutzpah of just going, here they are. Oh,
But see, that's just it. That's just it. That was my whole idea is you make a reality when you can say it. And I did say that in those posts. Like, if you
yeah.
can't if you don't have the guts or chutzpah to put it on here, that's fine. But it's got you thinking. It's got you thinking about it. It's got you hearing other people's dreams.
Yeah.
And what happened was I found out about 10 days into it, this sucks. It was really
Why?
hard to
Yeah,
do.
right?
And
Well, to come up with 30? Like,
Yes.
most people focus on 1 or 2. They say,
I
follow
could-
your dream. But
I could talk to
30?
you about
Woo.
30 pretty easily, but to make it not about me, which is what I really strive to do.
Well, that was the attraction. Was it's supposed to be a pit of narcissism? I was all in.
Oh,
I was
you
like, I
love
get to
that.
talk about me for 30 days?
That was
Let's
it. I
do
wanted
that.
you to talk about you. I wanted
get
to
you.
share something to inspire people to talk about themselves and to build this up. And the byproduct was I had so many people that either read mine and offered like, oh, this is your dream. I can help you with that. Or what happened a lot was a lot of people didn't write it on there. They would say to me outside of there, I read your posts every day. I really like them. Oh, cool. I had no idea. Yeah. I picked up the phone because you said that, about like helping others. I thought of my niece. She wants to write a book, or she wants to do this. She wants to do that. I know somebody, and I helped them. And I was like, that's the greatest thing ever. Okay. I did it for 30 days. I got a lot of very good positive stuff back to me. I loved it, right?
Nice.
One of the things I put in there is I wanted to write a book. I had not written a book at this point. And one of our podcasters had written a book and self-published and wrote to me and said, let's write a book together. And I was like, sweet. That fell apart. But we tried it. I wrote about 3 chapters. He wrote about 3 chapters. And then we just couldn't get it together. And it was like, okay. And it was a boring subject. It was about podcasting. Okay? Boring. When I say boring, hold on, Scott. It was not about podcasting the way we're going to talk about in a second. It was about how to break into podcasting.
There's no break-in. And by the way, it is boring.
Exactly.
I don't mean to be that way, but
no, it's
what we
100%.
do here is boring.
And I've seen other books that try to do it, and I'm like, these are boring. It's all about the conversation. That's what matters.
Right.
So I thought, you know what, I could probably write the whole book in a chapter, maybe a paragraph, and inspire people. So I ditched, he ditched, whatever. Another person approached me then and said, and approached my wife and said, well, you guys want to write a book, want to write chapters in a book. Sure, I'll try that. So we contributed chapters to a book called The Entrepreneur Within, the Creative Edition. It's about entrepreneurs that deal in creativity. And I did it. Martha did it. We got Chris Mao from the Blue Box to do it. Phil Parrish, who's one of our podcasters, did it. James Wilder, who is a podcaster and a writer here in Indy.
I love James.
By the way, I love James.
James is
I do
amazing,
too.
right?
Yeah. Phenomenal stuff.
So we got all these people writing chapters for her book. And after we finished ours, you know how we roll, Scott. I went, well, why aren't we writing our own book? And Martha goes, yeah, let's do a book like now.
Yeah.
So here's what's going to happen. Our book is going to come out before Julie's book comes out because we put deadlines on it. We know how to manage that in a certain way that we said, we need this to happen quickly, and it needs to be really super tight. Her book is great. I'm not dissing that at all, but she took longer with it. We don't roll that way. We make things happen quickly.
Right. I think there was nuanced combing on that book, whereas this one is like, let's go.
Yep, exactly. That doesn't mean ours isn't edited beautifully, that we don't have all that stuff in place, but we also have access to people that do that in a different way.
Right.
So we reached out to the podcasters in our network and said, who wants to be in? And a handful did it. A handful. Then we went further out and we just posted on a couple of forums and said, hey, we're doing this book. Here's what we're looking for. And now we have, officially, I'm going to tell you 30 chapters. I have about 38 chapters to play with.
Whew, nice.
We're going to use some of them for a stretch goal. I've not revealed the stretch goals on our Kickstarter, but that's one of them. Some of them are going to go into Volume 2, which is already starting to take shape.
Nice.
So that's one of the projects. It's called Podlife, and it's stories about podcasters. Now, somebody near and dear to this show caused the whole thing to change, which would be JC.
I thought that was the case.
So here's the deal. Originally what we put out was we put out a bunch of questions to all the podcasters that said, answer these however you want. It doesn't have to go this way, whatever you want to do. But it was like, these are a jumping off point. How did you get into podcasting? Tell us your funniest story. Who is your best guest? First chapter that comes in is from JC. And it was emotional, and it was deep, and it was real, and it was like beautiful. And
It was really good.
It was really good. And I posted it that day and said, first chapter came in, check this out. And I got a bunch of emails that said, mine's going to be a little later because I have to rewrite it.
Nice.
And what we
Damn
have
it,
gotten
JC.
back has been deep and emotional.
Nice.
And like, they're stories of people. So now we call it a podcaster book because the people are podcasters.
Yeah.
But these stories are real. And what I love is they inspire. They're raw. There's a lot of self-doubt. There's a lot of... we could have called the book I Hate My Voice, because so many people in there talk about how they hate their
Yes.
voice.
Oh, yes.
And there's one that I really like. Talk about being a narcissist. I'm not, but there's one that talks about me in it, because Blair, I'm spoiling her chapter, she talks about how she hates her voice, and she talks about how it was like detrimental, and how she said it to me, and that's a mistake, and how we're standing at a Comic-Con, and she relates the story, how we're standing there, and I just was like in her face going, it doesn't matter what anybody else thinks. Who is the one person? It's the person who puts your podcast on. That's me. I like your voice.
And we're done here.
Stop talking about it.
Right.
Get on that mic. And she said that changed a lot for her. And that's in here. And I'm like, that is so cool. I've tried to take a lot of, like, where they mention me or they mention our network out of it, because it's not about that.
Right.
But at the same time, there's a little bit. And that was a story where I'm like, I got to leave it in because it just is awesome.
That's great.
That
Yeah.
She took it that way, and it changed things for her.
And it made things better.
Yeah.
Sometimes
So-
all it takes for situations like that for someone to defeat their own pretender syndrome or something that they do that they don't like is somebody to look at them in the eye and tell them, you know what, you're really great at what you do.
Yeah.
So you need to keep doing it.
Yeah.
And there's been a lot of times I've been on this podcast where I didn't think I was good enough, and Scott and JC have been like, Rico, what you do is really amazing.
Yeah,
you
so
need
just
to
shut
keep
up and
doing
do it. Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Everybody has a voice. Everybody has a viewpoint. Sometimes we're afraid to show it. Sometimes we're afraid to get up and speak our mind. It could be any number of things that are causing that. As far as I'm concerned, we try to make it a safe platform. Go ahead and do it. It's all inclusive in our network. We try to make it really cool, and that's what this book really is.
Well, and that's I did not read JC's chapter.
No, but yours is raw too, and it's awesome.
Until I didn't read his chapter until I had finished mine. And I finished mine and sent it in. And then I went, what did JC write? And then I went, okay, I'm not far off the mark. Okay,
Yours was great.
I was like, this is
We
sort
did
of...
change that last line. No spoilers,
Okay,
but we did change that last line.
Good. Because I was, it worried me because
Because it
was
said
like,
the world revolves around Scott, and I was like, you know what? It's really the universe. So I
right,
changed
it really
that.
is.
So
The world it should be more galactic in nature.
Yes.
They say there's a finite limit to the universe, and I want to go right up to that line about me. But it was one of those. It was one of those where it was like, should
How
I
come everybody's
tell the
nodding in
story?
agreement
Yeah,
with
they're
that?
all like, yeah, that's
Because we've
exactly
met
how
Scott
I
I've been
felt
about
about
working
it.
with him for 3 years on
We've
this
met.
podcast. Trust me, I know how much it is about Scott.
And we've known
Exactly.
him for much longer than those 3 years.
Right. And you're still like, yeah, every
That's
time.
Scott,
It's
yeah.
all,
There-
that's the
there's a
same
doesn't
reason
thing.
I
need an
get us
amp.
back onto topic and steer us away from the segues.
Look at how good he is.
Right,
It's kind
Well,
of
no, but-
my
but-
job as co-host.
Yeah, exactly. And he
So would
keeps
that be a
me
segue away from segues?
in the balance.
Yes.
Uh-oh. What happens if the segues...
Segception.
Segueception.
What happens if the segues all bolt and go different directions? Now it's just a herding cats problem. Anyway, and I didn't want to be. Again. So I thank you because you keep challenging me with these things that make my gut twist up when I'm like, okay, should I tell this story? Like,
Yep.
This is how I got here. Do I really want to let the cat out of the bag? Because what you find out is this like veneer of, well, yeah, we do this and we have fun and I'm always comfortable and I'm always willing to talk about this, that, and the other.
How boring is that, though?
Even though 90% of it's about me, which is great. Well, 90% of what I talk about is about me, and everyone else, fills
Is in the room.
It's all, yeah, they're there with it, right?
Window
but I didn't
decoration.
know if I wanted to share that story, so then I sent it off, and then I opened JC's and I went, oh, okay, we both shot arrows into the same thicket. Okay,
And,
fair
and
enough.
a lot of people did in this.
Good.
Some of them don't, and you know what? They don't need to. Some of them don't have the thicket to shoot into either.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what, there's enough in here that I think people are going to be very surprised. So
Good.
that's coming out. It's supposed to come out October 1st. We'll see if we hit that. We're trying really hard. That'll lead us into the second thing. But before we get there, we have a Kickstarter for the book.
For the book,
Nice.
We have a Kickstarter. Just look up Podlife, one word,
Life.
or look up Southgate Media Group. And it's pretty low. It's $800, and I was going to give you guys the update.
I thought it was 5,300.
Oh, that'd be awesome. But
Was it?
No,
was
that's
it
my
not?
armor fundraiser.
we don't.
Oh, is it? Okay.
See,
We're gonna get Cat some armor.
we tried to go with this is what it is to get kind of what we need. We need an editor that we're paying for, and everybody works with us, so we've got a good deal on an editor. And we have an artist that's doing a cover. Who is a professional at covers? Actually, the person who did Jim's covers.
Oh, okay.
Really nice.
Yeah.
And you take that into account, and then a little bit of promotional, and it came to $800. Right now, we're at $276, and we have 19 days to go.
Oh, very nice.
So, and we just started it. So we didn't do like a 60-day. We did like a 25-day or something.
Nice.
So we're just getting the word out about it.
Right, and I think we'll continue to do that, roll it out on some social
That's
media.
why I'm doing
and we'll
shows
have-
like this, although
Exactly.
I do this because I'm a Gen Con.
Right,
But
exactly.
yeah, I did a great interview with Jesse Jackson, man. That
Yeah?
was great. Yeah, talk about being all about you. He kept asking me questions about me, and I'm like, I actually kind of like talking about myself today.
It's
that
a
doesn't
good
usually
thing.
happen.
That's always a good thing.
Yeah, no, not for me. I don't usually care. I usually like to talk about other
I
people
know
and hear
what
their
those
stories.
words mean. Like, I don't care about myself. I know
Martha-
what each of those words means individually, but when you
not
put them in
together.
that order, I don't know what you said.
Martha always says, I recognize what you're saying as words.
Yeah, those are all English.
But that doesn't make sense. Yeah, it's really funny.
no.
I recognize the
got
words,
nothing
but not together in that order.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah,
So
I
the
got nothing.
second thing that this is leading into is we have an Indiegogo that's starting next week. This one's even lower. This one's like $500. But it's for our 3rd annual podcast marathon. So in Elgin at the Blue Box Cafe, which I mentioned Chris before, Chris Mao and Kathleen Mao own the Blue Box
Which
Cafe.
I desperately need to go out and visit.
It's amazing.
Right?
It's a Doctor Who cafe.
I
One of
really
my
need to get out
goals
there.
in life is to beat Rachel to that Blue Box Cafe.
You might.
It's not that far, man. So we do live podcasting out of
Text
there.
my husband. Road
And
trip.
This is the 3rd year we're doing the live podcast marathon, which Five-ish Fangirls and Gaming with Scott could both be on because we haven't finalized anything. So
Yeah.
think about it. October 7th, and we will be talking about the book there and everything too.
October 7th.
But that's the
Okay.
same
I might be
thing.
able to-
I'm
We
free that
started
weekend.
this. We started
probably
this
not
not
free
to
that
promote us, but as a way to say, hey, there's a lot of podcasters around here that have never had the opportunity of doing it live, and a lot of people don't even know that like their neighbor is a podcaster. Let's do this thing. And last year we did a ridiculous thing. We did it 14 hours, and we tried to have a concurrent YouTube marathon going. That was too much. This year we're doing 13 hours, and some of our guys want to do a concurrent YouTube marathon, but I'm not running that.
If you're going to do 13 hours, how long is each podcaster going to have?
Half hour.
That's it? 1/2 hour?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
It's tight.
I was about to say, that is super tight.
It's tight. There are shows, like I've let shows go 45 minutes, and then we fill it in with a 15-minute, like Pop Culture Countdown, which is, see, we do all these live shows at Blue Box. We've made up all these shows. Well, we've got it so that, like, at the spur of a moment, we could say, hey, we got 20 minutes to fill. Let's go do Pop Culture Countdown. And we just make it up.
Nice.
If
Off
you
the
listen,
cuff, man, ad lib is an amazing talent.
Yep.
and we were always ready. And then we have game shows. We can always do a 5-minute game show or an hour if somebody got sick or whatever. So we're pretty
Nice.
casual about it, but we do try to schedule them, and we do say let's keep it tight at a half hour. But the reality is, come on, man, these are podcasters.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
never going to do that. I just try to keep them from going too far over.
Yeah.
Yeah. When Scott's there, we will tell him it's an hour. No, we'll tell him it's a half hour, but I'll have an hour allotted.
I was going to
Good
say, usually when the Gaming with Scott crew sits down to record for either a fantasy game or a Marvel game, we're there for 4.5 hours.
Okay, Rico, I have a better answer for you. Okay?
Okay.
So let's say that Gaming with Scott comes up. Let's say Gaming with Scott and Five-ish Fangirls comes up. You go, wow, I came all the way up there and it was a half hour? No. You can do on the marathon the half hour, but there's Martini Lounge right there. There's Public House right there. Take a recorder, go sit your ass down there, and record a podcast, and it's a supplemental podcast to what we do.
Our recorder's right there.
Yeah, there you go.
RH6.
Mine's in my bag.
That's something Chris and I
Yeah.
were talking
This
about
is
last
all
year. Like,
mobile.
wouldn't it be great if like every restaurant around here was filled up with all the podcasters just making shows, and then the main show was there at the Blue Box?
Yeah.
I would love that.
Oh,
I would
yeah.
love that. And then Facebook Live it, please.
Not for nothing.
right.
But the October 7th is the first Saturday of the month, which falls right after the first Friday of the month when Marvel usually records. Just saying,
it might work.
It might work. We could just, request time. Well,
Hashtag road trip.
you and I could request off of work because we work in the world of finance, so it's easy.
That
It's
would be fine.
PTO day or a personal day or whatever. No big deal. It's making sure Jackson's back from vacation, and
Yeah, he's always on vacation.
JC doesn't have drill that weekend.
Yep.
Or you can fill in with other people.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Oh, yeah.
Scott and I
We've got-
could do it.
We're expanding the ranks, Rob. I
So
wanted to
League-
let you know that.
League of Geeks, it's Lil and Steve and Sean. They're on the coast, and Lil's in Chicago. They wanted to be represented at the marathon. So what did he do? He had Chris and I sit in as the co-hosts of League of Geeks. So
Nice.
League of Geeks was on the marathon, but we did the show with him.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
So,
Nice.
I
Yeah.
guess we could just do
We
like
could have Portillo's.
we could do
be
just
good.
like
or I could send you someplace that has the same hot dogs for about a quarter the price.
Oh, well, all right.
Sorry, Portillo's.
Are they as good? There's a Portillo's
It's
opening up
called,
in
what did I
Indianapolis
say?
here.
What did I say?
just as good.
It's the same hot dog.
but
Oh,
of
it's
course
the
the
same
price.
hot dog. Well, all right.
They're Vienna beefs.
I was listening to you. Don't worry. I know exactly what you
Although
said.
at Portillo's they have like this amazing chocolate shake, chocolate cake shake. You can't get that at the other place.
that
They have a
sounds
chopped salad
wonderful.
that's amazing.
I think I remember
so
David
they have-
Lozano is talking
there
about the
Italian
chocolate
beef
cake
worth
shake.
having?
Yep. So there you go.
Yeah.
If you get the hot dogs though, go to Hot Dog Express. It's right by me. You get 2 dogs and a big bucket of fries for like $5.
That's a pretty sweet deal.
Go get one hot dog at Portillo's for $5.
Wow.
If you're going to do that,
Nah.
I'm going to send you someplace better than all of them. You're going to go to Superdog, and you're going to
Superdog is
learn what a
amazing.
hot dog is.
Superdog is amazing.
Told you.
I will tell you right there.
You want to hear a funny story about Superdog? Okay, so we were there with my daughter, and Molly was like 3, right? And it was their new place up in Wheeling. And Mark, who's one of the sons that has now taken over Superdog, he was there, and everyone's working and everything, and he's super nice. And he comes out and he goes, not Superdog, super nice. And he's like talking to her because it's a kid and she's cute. He's like, do you want to see, the back area? And I'd love to see it. And he takes her back there. And all the workers, of course, it's this cute little, they all stop and they're like, oh, hey. And she goes, why aren't they working? And he's like, you know what? You are hired.
Mouths and waves. There it is.
It was awesome.
Assistant manager.
He cracked
Get
up. They
back
all
to
kind of
work.
made a sour face, and he was like, yeah, she's hired. She's awesome.
Phenomenal.
Why aren't they working?
Yeah, and now
aren't-
she's all into food. She does a food blog called What's
Yeah.
Molly Making?
Yeah,
And
I saw that.
It's going to be the biggest thing on our network. It's going to be bigger than anything that
Bigger
we
than
have.
Gaming with
Nice.
Scott.
It's
Nice.
crazy.
Well, I mean,
Not
Gaming
pound
with
for
Scott.
pound. No offense,
Gaming with
Scott.
Oh, very nice. Thanks. I
Gaming with
have
Scott,
to work
I think,
on this
barely
spelt form.
cracks the top 15 from month to month. But,
Yeah,
we're doing
working
better.
We're realigning. We're going to refocus. So we're going back to our roots.
Speaking of fat jokes,
Nice.
Chris and Alil and I mean, I'm the smallest of the three, and I'm not a little guy, but they're big boys. And we make that joke quite often. We'll be at things where we're like, we're the biggest podcast here. And they're like, really?
Yeah.
Like, people always think that we mean numbers.
Oh,
No.
I meant give me a piggyback
talking-
ride, and
we're
we'll
talking
talk
pound for
right
pound.
now how you were like, oh, God, make it stop.
Biggest
Yeah.
show on the internet.
There it is. That's how that
I
works.
came here and I said, this might be the biggest con I've ever been to. Chris is like,
absolutely.
you're a real jerk. I can't help it.
Nice.
I can't help it.
All good. So, yeah, we need to. But Portillo's is coming down to Indianapolis. And I was
Portillo's
just like,
is really good. It's
is there
just-
Italian beef worth that? Is there
Sure.
better? There's not
Everything
gonna be
there is
better.
good.
It's not going to be better. There's not an Italian beef better in town.
Yeah.
It's Indianapolis. I don't mean to be that way.
You know what? We have a beef place by us, Johnny's Beef. You can get a combo where you get an Italian sausage stuffed in the Italian beef, and then you dip it. Now, I have gluten allergy, so I can't have this anymore, but it is like seeing God. And you get at Johnny's, you get a combo dipped, and you get a large Italian no lid. They give you an Italian ice, and I swear to God, it's like a giant. It's not like a 32 ouncer, but it's one of those big cups. You get it no lid. They put like a mountain of shaved Italian ice on
Nice.
top. You'll work on that for a
Nice.
day. It's awesome.
That's phenomenal.
Oh, it's so good, man.
That would be awesome
And
today
hence
with
the
as hot as
reason
it is.
why we're one of the biggest podcasts.
Yeah. Oh.
I missed what were you
And now it
saying?
makes sense. So that would be awesome on a day like this where it's hot as outside.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Yeah, where it's
Yeah.
all humid.
And it's really good. There's like, you get the shaved bits of lemon in it. So it's not like, this is lemon stuff. This is lemon.
This is lemon flavored frozen water.
So I was there with my brother-in-law one time, and it was the first time I had taken him there. And we're going through line, and he goes, oh, man. He goes, this place smells so good. He goes, it reminds me of this place in the city. And I said, he didn't realize it was the place from the city, just out in the suburbs.
Nice.
But he said, yeah. He goes, now they start to hand him his food, and he goes, yeah. He goes, it's so good. He goes, it smells so good. He goes, you eat your food before you get to the register, and you have to order again. He did that. He ate his beef before he got there, and he's like, is this the place? I was like, it is the place.
The place.
Yeah.
That's
and then my
awesome.
nephew, who was like 11, got 2 combos. Dude.
Nice.
That's a lot of food. Rock on, my nephew.
There you go. Make it happen. So, Blue Box, do they do food? How's the whole?
Yes.
I've watched you guys a couple times.
It's a deli, or like it's. I mean,
Yeah.
it's
a
the Blue Box
cafe.
Cafe. Yeah, but he has great sandwiches and stuff. He has a turkey Reuben. Please,
really?
It's so good.
That sounds like something I would rail against.
It's
turkey in one hand, which is
No,
okay.
no.
Reuben in the other. Wait, that's cow.
The
that's
turkey Reuben is delicious. It is
Okay.
delicious.
I
This
got-
is
all
Chris. Chris is a foodie.
Okay. All right, I won't
His
argue
coffee
it.
is great. They serve Metropolis coffee, which I'm all about.
Right on.
It's really good. He has a lot of unique coffees, too. So, like, one of the favorite things is, I think it's the River Song. He's going to be like, dude, those are not the names. I think it's called River Song. It is ginger and curry latte. And it sounds disgusting, and it is anything
No,
but
it sounds
disgusting.
really
it is
Sounds interesting.
It is like life-changing. It's so good.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he has a lot of really good stuff. And he does the stuff like the coffee teas. You guys ever have that?
Uh-huh.
You know, where it's like
Yeah.
tea with coffee beans, and he has like London Fog and that. And he has a lavender one. It's just
Purple
great.
Rain, the lavender with the
It's
cream
all,
and the
yeah, it's all so good. So yeah, man,
Phenomenal.
you can eat like a king there.
Right on. Okay.
Well, that's
I'm just
one reason
checking.
I would go is because I love to eat.
Right?
We were doing a podcast earlier this afternoon. We were doing a Behind the Mask, and it went so over. I was like, dude, I'm getting hangry, you guys. I need to go eat. Can
And
we
he was
stop
like, well,
this?
what are we doing? We're
He
going to
went
go
way
eat.
out in the
Well,
left
then
field.
we
And
got to
then
do it. We're
everybody's
gonna go
like,
eat.
well, let's talk about this for a second. I'm like,
gonna
I
eat.
want to go eat right now. So
That did happen.
It
You're
did
better
happen.
now.
I am a whole lot better now.
It's a wonderful thing.
So
All right,
we-
my time is actually getting very short. I'm
Yeah, I
gonna
was
have to come
gonna
back
say,
tomorrow for more.
We talked about
Okay,
the
we did
book.
too.
We talked about the
Blue Box and then a bunch
Indiegogo,
of other things.
and then you had
Indiegogo,
one
the
more thing.
Kickstarter,
Did we want
Blue
to?
You know what? I'll give one
No.
quick other thing we'll plug.
I was about to say we could do a quick tease for a cliffhanger.
Well,
and
this one's
pick up
easy.
tomorrow.
We have a show. Martha and I do a show, and Molly's on it quite often. That we love doing. It's popular, but we've never really played around with Patreon and that very much. It's binge worthy. So we watch Luke Cage, and then we talk about it, but we keep them nice and tight. So it's kind of like, hey, if you don't have time to watch it, you can hear kind of a recap. We don't spoil stuff, but we just tell you whether it's worth watching or spacing out or whatever. And we decided to set up a Patreon for it. And so far, nobody is on the Patreon. That will change.
Yep.
But what we did is we made it one level, $5. Okay? Don't buy coffee once. Or buy coffee and figure, I thought I was going to get 2 cups, but I got this
Got one
instead.
instead.
Don't buy one expensive hot dog.
But we have a rule on there where we say it has to be a show that either completed or is still current after 2010. So like Lost, we can't do on the show.
Right.
But we can do, let's see, what's one that ended? Breaking Bad.
Right.
Okay? Or we do like the new Netflix things. But for the Patreon, we do an extra show that can be anything pre-2010. We let the audience help pick it. So if they pick Love Boat for a season, we got to watch a whole
You
season
got
of
to
Love Boat.
binge a whole
Nice.
season of Love Boat.
Totally voting
so
for Love
far,
Boat now.
everyone that has come in that people have written have been awesome. Like, we want to hear you talk about Lost. We're like, boy, that'll be torture. Sure.
Yeah, I would- I'd do
Seinfeld,
that.
we're like, darn it. But you know it's coming because you know I've got friends out there. You're going to watch Love Boat. Oh, you're going to watch Full House.
You're going to watch Brady
Please.
Bunch,
Yeah, you're gonna watch Gilligan's Island or MASH, also other terrible
which
shows.
are also phenomenal.
No,
How
you're
dare you, sir?
Rico, you're
MASH is
wrong.
amazing.
Unpopular opinions, I has them.
Yeah.
Yes,
I'm
you
not
do.
ashamed of it.
All
MASH
over.
is great until it turned bad, and then it was still great at the very end.
Yeah.
Gilligan's
My
Island
wife
is
will
terrible
not
and
watch
it's
the
awesome.
last episode.
I call it awesome. The last episode's the best part.
She won't watch it
That's the best part.
because then it would be over.
Over.
Yeah, ask her if she could keep that chicken quiet.
She won't watch it.
Do you know that joke?
I
No,
do
you know
not.
that? Okay.
I
No.
get it.
See?
Yep.
Nope.
I make
didn't
that
watch
joke all
enough
the time
of
and nobody knows what I mean because people have forgotten.
I get it.
That's because it was a bad show.
Could somebody keep that chicken quiet?
Nice.
Yeah.
Rico's the chicken in this.
Yeah,
Yes,
apparently.
yes.
So I apparently
Precisely.
am the chicken in this
we got
scenario.
that one.
All right,
so
I'm gonna have
we
to
got,
bail.
Yeah,
Okay.
Binge-worthy, the book, and the marathon.
Podlife and the marathon, the two
And the
big things that
marathon.
we wanted to plug.
What's the website where we can find you?
SouthgateMediaGroup.com. Find me on Instagram at Rob Southgate. Find me on Twitter at
Twitter?
@RSouthgate. Those are just the ones that are me.
Yep.
SMG Pods
Yeah,
is the
SMG
company.
Pods is the big.
Look up Facebook for Southgate Media Group. I friend everybody. I
True
don't
story.
care.
He does.
So,
He's friends with me.
Yeah.
Me too.
So you know
So,
the bar is
yeah.
low.
Super
Yeah.
low.
But yeah, man,
How low
I,
can you go?
and I love to answer questions about all this stuff. So if you want to know about podcasting or want to get into it, I love talking about it. So I'm
Well,
all
thank
about
you
that.
for your time,
And I love
Rob.
talking about
We
social media
appreciate
too, as Scott can.
You're gonna have to
Oh,
give
yeah,
me the
we'll have
Patreon.
to- we'll have to talk about
I'm gonna,
the,
I'm gonna shake
Twitter story
Patreon
another
out of
day.
you before I shake Pinterest out of you.
Patreon.
I want to get Patreon
Want to know all
to
about
make
Patreon,
me
and we can't do it
money.
right now. But
No,
I can
he's
tell
got to
you.
go. Yeah,
Yeah.
but we
Yes,
can.
I want you to
we
tell
can
me.
talk about it at another time.
We
He's-
will talk
he's
about that
strapped.
tomorrow.
Stop launching shows and talk to me first.
Yes. Yeah, we're done.
No, we only have the two.
No. They will attest. My managing partners have reeled me in. I am stop launching shows. We only have 2 and then the con coverage. So that's it.
Got
so
it.
one that's gaming and one that's con. We're done.
All right.
There it is.
So thanks, Rob. We appreciate your time.
Yes, I'll
Thank
be
you,
back
Rob.
tomorrow to sit with you
All
guys.
right.
It was
Well,
great
have a
meeting you
great
guys.
day, man.
Notice I didn't look at those two.
It's finally nice to meet you.
We may podcast more with the ladies right after this, but thank you, Rob.
Yes, I look at all the noise.
Oh,
I
look at
love
that.
that though.
Isn't that
Don't
most
you love the noise?
wonderful? Yeah, it's just like teeth grating or
No,
fingernails
it
on a
isn't.
chalkboard.
It's like when you hear gaming and you hear people drop their dice. I just love all that stuff. It's the ambient, like airplanes and that I don't like.
It's
but
that
I love
good
that
noise
like cranky.
when you hear the dice roll off the table and skitter onto the floor.
Oh,
And now
it's
you're
the
like, oh
best.
shit! Now I got to search for
I
that.
love it. Love
Great.
it.
Keep
Yep.
Rob. You gotta come
Podcasting
back more.
ASMR.
5 stars. All right, I'm out of here.
All right.
Thank you guys. I'll
Thanks.
see you tomorrow.
As always, you'll hear from us real soon.
Bye.
Bye.